Afternoon, everyone. Hope you are well. Happy Sunday. It's a beautiful day today here. Not too warm and with a very nice breeze. And I hope you all having a beautiful day wherever you are. Hope you all have had an opportunity this week to continue practicing the sort of body meditation. It's a skill, it takes practice, and it's a technique. And with all techniques, you have to repeat it. And then it begins to sort of open up. And it unfolds. And you grow in your ability with it. And it's really worthy of the investment of time. It's a very, very powerful practice to work with the body directly. We've worked with the body in many different ways. Some respects I could have started HP Shalom, 3 years ago, with body work and built on top of that. It's fundamental. We avoid working with our body. It's just ignored. We work with our thoughts, analysis, understanding, all in our heads. We ignore everything else. But our heads are connected to our bodies. And our bodies affects our head and our thoughts, as I've mentioned many times. This is a very powerful technique on releasing tension, everything we hold in our bodies. Our battery is really our body. What we hold in our body limits us in many ways because we're so full. We're so saturated, like we're a cup filled with water. It can't take another drop. And the cup really can't understand what it is because it mainly feels the water of thoughts, emotions, happiness, anger, density, murkiness. And what we're learning is to drain out what's in our cup, allow it to go, because our cup is really not meant to hold anything. Energy is meant to flow in and to flow out. There's no scarcity. There's nothing needing to be held. But we get overwhelmed. We are not taught on how to release. And so we hold. And it comes out as tension and density, high blood pressure, heart attacks, stroke, cancers. The density that's being held exhausts us, puts us on hairpin triggers where we just explode, or pushes us into sadness that's easy to trigger, or depression, a feeling of being overwhelmed. And we could deal it mentally, we can deal it with therapeutically, with medication, and all these things are important. But we also could address it directly with our bodies and learning techniques on how to just let it go, to work directly with the tension and with the holding, and learning on how to open up to it so it leaves. So imagine a pot with boiling hot water. So the hot water that's boiling, we could imagine the energy that's in our body. Now, it's not hot, or it can be hot. Let's just imagine that it's dense. It's holding a lot. It feels solid, but it's really not. It's energy. But the steam coming off the boiling water is really, imagine that it's the energy coming off from the water. It is meant to leave. But what we have really is a closed system. We have a lid on top of our body. So if you put a lid on top of boiling hot water, it traps in the heat and it builds pressure. Like, you know, those pressure cookers, you put the lid on, you fasten it down, and pressure builds up and builds up because there's no release. Often that's us. Pressure's building, it's getting dense, and we're holding and we're holding and we're afraid to let go because A, we don't know any other way. We think it's normal. But also, what happens when we begin to release? Who are we without the pressure? As well as a fear of what's this pressure? And what we're learning is to remove the lid so that water, that density, can leave. Just like the steam leaves the water and the water disappears from the pot. So with our bodies, the holding, the density, the heaviness, the stuck emotions, trauma, thought patterns, habits, an inability to see clearly, acting reactively as opposed to actively, acting based on how we acted in the past as opposed to the present, habits, addictions, everything that keeps us from being very present. When we learn to work with the body and learning how to release, we become like the water that releases the energy, like the steam. And the energy begins to leave in all directions, from all parts of our body. And we're able to finally learn what it means to relax and to lower the temperature, to lower the pressure, to begin to understand what it means for our glass to be 80% full, 70% full, 60% full. And to begin to understand the nature of our glass, of our body, of our minds, because it's no longer saturated. There's 30% of leeway, of movement, of openness. And what is that? How does it change us? What worlds does it open up? Do we choose to fill it? Or do we learn how to work with that open space and see how it empowers our practice, how it changes our way of living, of engaging with ourselves, with other people, how it changes our actions or reactions, how it changes the direction of our lives, even what kind of people we are, in quotation marks. Good, bad, ugly, happy, depressed. It gives us wiggle room. Room to change, room to improve, room to stay the same. What it does is it gives us a choice and an understanding that we are not as solid as we think we are. We are not as fixed in our ways as we think we are. We are not as hopeless as we think that we might be, that there is no possibility of change. Because as the solidity and that starts to radiate out, we begin to realize and to think different thoughts and realize, hold on, there's a possibility of movement. There's a possibility of renewal. There's a possibility of understanding what it's like to live life just being the cup with nothing in it, and realize there's still a lot there. We've not erased ourselves. We are not the material within our cup. We may be colored by it, influenced by it, the way we act, everything, but there is a pure part of ourselves. Our ground, our home base, that's always been present, but it's been buried, and it's been overwhelmed by what we hold. And we begin to see how it all holds us back. The process of meditation, of prayer, the names, mantras, these are all means to sort of drain out, release what doesn't belong. But it's the body that holds it, the physicality of the body. Thoughts may help lock it in. Energy and its blockages and movement in the wrong or right directions and where it's held and its stuckness. It's like the circulatory system that may help keep it in place. But ultimately, it's held in our body. So by working with meditation on the body, we're working directly with the cup, directly with the battery itself. And we're learning how to allow it to flow. We are not meant to hold things. The density doesn't mean we don't have memories. Doesn't mean we don't have emotions. We do. But all that holding, that heaviness, is not the normal state of what we could be. And many spiritual paths around the world point to that and say, here, this is another way. Investigate to see what that is. How can we live in that way? And it really gives us new life. There's nothing blocking us from the Shekinah. There's nothing blocking us from hearing our hearts, our instincts, our best selves, from hearing the voice of God, or that nudge, do this, don't do that, or that instinct. We become available to all sorts of inputs that were just drowned out by the noise we carry, by thoughts that are everywhere because we're under such a pressure cooker that our mind always races. Or the thoughts are so overwhelming that we sink into depression. And then we feel stuck and we know other way. We know, K-N-O-W, no other way. And we think that's just how we are, and then we're really stuck. So by learning to work with the battery, we learn how to return our body to the way it was meant to be. That the energy flows in and flows out. And we learn the skills for when we're overwhelmed to quickly do the exercises, the practice. Even in a chair, you can do this. How to do the breathing, to allow it to escape, to move, to feel lighter. The lower the pressure, the lower the emotions, the calmer the mind, calmer the emotions and the thinking, the more openness there is to navigate, to breathe, to leave that charge in the past. So the next moment is a little more open and freer, and you're more available to what's in front of you. The next thing in your life, the next moment, the afternoon, because you're no longer stuck in the morning. In a way, it's a way to directly work with a liberation. You're liberating yourself from what you're holding. And we're learning on how to heal, clear the body and the techniques to allow that to happen. It's another technique for our toolbox. And with this technique, you could add mantras and all sorts of things. So it's a way to maybe begin your practice, calm down, connect. And so when you do your mantra practice afterwards, the energy has less to push through, to work through. And you're able to connect in a stronger, deeper way with your practice and go deeper, faster than if you hadn't done the technique at the beginning. You learn the power of it faster, able to connect deeper, which in turn helps you connect with your body. So when you do the body practice, there's already more clearing and more clearing. And then you begin to see what life is like that. And then you have that sort of, oh my God moment. How was I ever able to function this way? And you feel the relief that you finally can breathe. And you never realized just how stuck and claustrophobic it was. So this practice is a wonderful one for the summer months, which is why I'm teaching it now. Because when you do this practice in nature, you're already in an environment that's very open and beautiful and pristine. So when you open and you, by your body becoming more sensitive and able to release, it's nourished by the environment that surrounds you. There's no noise pushing in. The space is open, so you feel safe to sort of flop open, to release and let go. Your defenses are down. Your tense holding becomes open. Like we always hold it in like a clenched fist for most of the day. And we learn to create and find environments where we could unclench our fists and open our hands, and the tension can leave. Lying down in nature, it's like opening a faucet and allowing the water to just flow through. And the pressure that's built up is finally allowed to go. Energy just needs a direction to go. By doing this, we're giving our body permission to just let it leave. So, why don't we do it a little bit together? I hope people have had the opportunity last week to listen to last Sunday's teaching. I don't want to go back through all the steps again, but I'll quickly mention a few. We're going to here. This is going to be our main position. If you look at your monitor, so the knees are up, together, feet flat on the ground, comfortable position for the lower back so there's no strain, elbows on the ground. Oh, there it is on your screen. Now it makes more sense, right? Elbows on the ground, hands overlapping each other around the navel. If they can't reach, that's okay, wherever feels comfortable. And head, skull flat on the ground, face facing up, and at whatever angle of the chin that feels comfortable. This is a position which the body should be able to maintain on its own without any pressure. And you could angle the knees so that it's the legs, just so that the legs hold themselves up kind of naturally. And you adjust as you need to. There's no holding of a position. The point of it is you are able to fully relax. It's a practice ultimately of learning to relax. When you relax the tendons, the muscles, and the mind, then there's no pressure to hold that energy in. See, the energy isn't meant to be there. So we don't have to force it to leave. We're actually doing everything to keep it in. By having a relaxation with the techniques, we create a space where it will naturally radiate out. We're removing the lid and the steam just radiates and goes because it never was meant to be trapped. And this isn't just my thinking. It's many civilizations and ways of doing has had these for millennia, techniques like this. Yoga has techniques, is about moving with the flow and letting go and relaxing to open the channels so the energy flows out. Breathing techniques is to help the energy to leave. The pranayamas is to help energy leave. Doing mantra actually helps the energy leave. But this is really working with the physicality. And we lie on the ground because the ground holds us, or the floor in our apartment or house. It should be comfortable, but it shouldn't be too soft. We should be held, but we shouldn't sink in. So a light padding, being on one's mattress is probably not the best. We're too associated with sleeping there, as well as it can be too soft. But on a carpet, or a yoga pad, or a rug, ideally, you're on grass with dirt beneath you, because the dirt, the earth, naturally holds us energetically. Our body comes from the elements, composed of elements from the earth. And so when we lie on it, there's a natural communication between us and the oxygen, the grass, the dirt. It's sort of where we naturally belong. Everything about a house is artificial. That's modern. Our bodies haven't adapted to modern. It takes thousands of years. So when we go back in nature, whether we're aware of it or not, that feels like natural home to us at a deeper level. And when we're in a place in our backyard or in a park or at the beach or at the desert or in the mountains or wherever, and we have a place where we feel safe, and we turn off our phones, and we learn to be in that place and open up ourselves to that place, lie down in that place, relax ourselves in that place, we're really hitting a reset button. where we're kind of swapping out what we took in and bringing in the energy of what surrounds us. And it comes with a release from stuff that's heavy, held, to something that's pure, open, lighter. The more we release, the easier it is. The more we learn to release, the quicker we're able to release, the deeper we're able to release. Suddenly we have more space, and then this technique ain't a problem anymore. It's learning to unlock, and it really opens us up. We can truly see a bird. We can truly hear a bird. We can even come to understand the emotions of what that bird might be communicating just by the tone of it. We're like, wow, how can I do that? I get a sense of kind of what's going on. It's because suddenly abilities we have room to function properly. Because suddenly we're able to hear details we couldn't before. We're able to look at the sky and saying it's going to rain. Oh, I look at this, it's going to rain in 2 days. And everybody's like, what? How can you do that? But you are more aware. So you notice cloud patterns over a couple months. You're able to smell the moisture in the air. You're able to feel that it's a little more nippy in the morning. And you realize these were all sort of indicators that rain is coming, but nobody's else never noticed them because they're too busy. They don't notice. They don't care to notice. But you've been more in tune. And you're more in tune with your inner thoughts, with your feelings. And you don't quite know how to put your finger on it, but you're certain. There's information in your mind that you just can't quite know why it's saying it, but you've come to trust it. You've picked up things at a subconscious level, and you just know that's what it is. And yet it happens. It's because you've opened and have the room to live in a deeper way, and you've unlocked skill sets that we all have as part of our birthright, because we've lowered the pressure. We've cleaned the container. And we realize in that clearer, more open space, we're able to function in a better way, engage with our families in a better way, act in our world in a better way, see in our world and perceive it in a different, purer, more direct, and often more accurate way, which informs our thoughts and judgments and understandings and ultimately our actions. So it's part of a complete change. But it comes with the release of the past, the tension, the density, the abuse. Or even the over bliss that we had at some point, which is no longer part of the current. That itself, it's not just skewed in negativity, it could be skewed in any direction. The holding that no longer is there because it colors, it has an influence from a open, clear way of perceiving, a way of connecting with the Shekinah, where faith of God in God goes from being blind faith to a knowing with a capital K and a lower k, Knowing, a knowing, an understanding that it's real because you just know. Because now you're a little more tapped in. Or even if you don't have that understanding, you come to an understanding of a right way and wrong way of living where there was confusion before. because now you see things in a different way. You're open. You now have access to the driving wheel of your car, and the windshield has been cleared. The baggage that makes your car go left or right or too slow or too fast is clear. No longer affecting the car of your life. And then you realize you're engaging with the road and what you perceive in a different way, and you realize it all looks a little different. And then you have to open to new directions, to new understandings, and new ways of being. Yes? So let's lie down, and we'll do the practice. And feel free during the week. And I think this coming Wednesday, either it'll be replayed or we'll just do it fresh together. Or later on in the week, either re-listen or move to the part where I do the practice and then do it with me. And then at some point, you'll understand how to do it, and then you do it on your own. And it's with practice. Because there's so much holding. At the beginning, it could be a little frustrating because we don't think much is happening. We just have to trust that it is. To give you an understanding of what's possible. I've been doing this for a while, mind you. So I came here after doing a lot of movement around today. I had 7 minutes to get ready. So I lied down. Nice piece of grass, very well hosed down every evening, so it's a lot of moisture. And I just laid down simply. Actually, I had my legs fully extended, and I just breathed and felt the earth beneath me. And I felt all this energy radiate out, and it does it naturally at this point. I really don't have to focus too much about it, other than just telling my muscles and everything relax. Relax all the thoughts, which becomes easier with time. And I was able to feel the energy of the earth beneath me. Yes, that is real. And there was a sort of swapping out as I literally felt heat leave, all that energy leave. And it felt a little hot. I felt the moisture and the groundedness of the earth kind of move in. And my body and bones wasn't so much radiating with the speed and, quite frankly, a little exhaustion. But suddenly, what I felt in my body wasn't that, but rather the groundedness and the richness of the soil and the moisture. And my body, which tends to be a little tense naturally, just the way my body is built, suddenly felt a little more grounded in the earth. The density the tension had left, and I felt much more relaxed. No more tense muscles. And my body felt a little crispy, and suddenly it felt like there was more water. There was an exchange of energy. The earth is very happy to receive all the energy that comes from our body. And when we're open to it, just like we breathe in the smell of a rose, and the smell of the rose enters our lungs, and is pleasant to our mind and to our senses, the energy of the earth is able to come in through our, how do I explain it? It just comes in, and we feel it in our bones, in our skin, in our organs. And there's a swapping out. Out goes the tension, and suddenly there's an openness. And what's there has an ability to come in. In that openness, like, nature hates a vacuum. So when you release something, there's room for something to come in. So what's coming in? Pure ground, grass, water, earth. Could even feel how nutrient rich the soil is. And that, I felt it come into my body. And it's extremely healing. Because those energies are pure and very healing to us. Because we have too much tension. We're not grounded in the richness. Our vibration is too sharp. So by being in something like this, we bring in what we need. And for people who have too much density, yes, the opposite does exist. The earth is actually a little lighter than they are. And it takes that in and then brings in something lighter, because the earth isn't fully dense, it's in between. So it's a recalibration. We bring in something that's balanced. And what we ever have too much of or too little, sort of the just right space is found. Nature won't really throw us out of balance. It will release what's not in balance. It's sort of a hitting of the reset button. When we do the name practice, we're hitting a reset button. When we do normal meditation, and I've taught several techniques over the years, that sort of allows things to move, release, and we find and regain our center. What's our center? It's a place of balance, of equilibrium. Not too tight, not too loose, not too heavy, not too light, not too much tension, not enough tension, not too much to the left or to the right. It's just that perfect. And where it's perfect might be different for everyone. And that's the beauty of the practice. People's proper balance is found, which is individually to them. Some people will naturally walk and talk slower, and that's their natural. Other people will naturally just be faster moving, and that might be where they are in balance. But if they're too slow or too fast, for them, that will be out of balance. So how do you find where you are naturally? By releasing, and you see where you end up. We tend to find an equilibrium, and we can tend to know where it is. And it could change us. Realize we've been out of equilibrium our whole lives. We end up imitating our father, thinking that's the way we are. But once we release, we realize, oh my God, at my base, I really wasn't all that introvert. I'm really an extrovert. You realize that, whoa, the settings were not quite there. There's a release, and the settings adjust. And you realize, oh, this really feels so much better. Oh, this is why I always struggled against this. Oh, this is why I always like to do that. And you realize, and then suddenly you're like, oh my gosh. And then you realize this is why people walk the religious and spiritual life. We do not erase ourselves, but rather we get to know ourselves. We get to renew ourselves. In a way, we get to start fresh from what society, our parents, and everyone sort of imposed on us, and what we've imposed on ourselves when we were 10, 15, 30, 50, whenever. And we get to take a breath. We get to investigate. We get to let go and rediscover anew a fresh space, a fresh start. and a fresh connection. So let's investigate together. So we'll start with this posture. So everybody lie down. Now I'm going to discuss another day the different environments of nature. Because there's certain high energy environments, like if you go around granite rock, that will affect you very differently than if you go by the beach. Because each element in nature has a slightly different effect. And I'll be discussing my experience with different ones so people kind of understand how it affects our body and how we could have sometimes a little bit of an intense experience. But, going in the woods, in grass with trees, at a normal altitude is pretty good. Going around Yosemite with all that granite rock could be a slightly intense experience, which I had a couple years ago. And I'll mention what that's like. Or going to a high altitude desert like Joshua Tree has a certain experience as well. And so we learn how to work with different environments. So we go to the right one based on kind of what we need for that moment. That's for another day. So let's lie back. And adjust your volume. So I'm not too loud and also not too soft. Just where if you relax, my voice isn't disturbing your relaxation, but it's loud enough that you can hear me without straining. The point is to relax. The ground and the earth is naturally receptive. It naturally wants to receive what we're emanating. It holds us. And it could even be the floor of your apartment 30 stories up. It really doesn't matter because you're being held. And ultimately, the earth is below. And the point is, you feel stable and held beneath you. So your body doesn't feel it's going to fall. Your legs don't feel they're going to move to the left or to the right. And your arms are able to be in a position where they're just naturally held in the posture, any posture. Sort of the fingertips overlocking your navel, your belly button. And then when you inhale and then you exhale, you're able to put your awareness, your attention. It's attention, not intention. Right? So your attention, what you focus on your body. So you try to just feel your body. So you put your mind and envision. You're not envisioning anything, that's the wrong word. See if you can feel your body. Where is it tense? Where does it hurt? Where does it tingle? Where is it tight? And then see if you can make, if there's any adjustments or wiggling or movement that you can do, repositioning, that might allow it to feel better. Little movement of the knee or of the feet, or adjustment of the fingertips. Making sure the lower back is flat on the ground and not arched in any way. The neck a little further down or up with the chin. And then you breathe in, and then you exhale. And with exhale, each exhale, as you exhale, you just open. Just an exhale where you invite any tension to just flow out. Just invite a release. So notice how I say the word release. It's the energies, you're literally releasing the energy like this, a release. You let go. Just inhale and exhale. And we'll do that for a few minutes. And any place where you feel tightness or pain, naturally your awareness will go to that area. If you feel pain, naturally you have some focus there, or you wouldn't feel the pain. Where you feel pain, your mind kind of focuses on that area. So you're kind of inviting it, when you're there, to let go of the pain and the release from that area. And yes, with time and practice, you could use your mind's eye, your awareness, and put your focus into certain parts of your body. And we'll work on that together. And invite that area in particular to release. And you could find the pain leave, subside, the muscle, the tear, to become softer. Now, if you have a chronic injury, it could help with it. Or, if it's really a thing, you put the right padding there. You hold it and you maintain it in a way, so the practice doesn't make it worse. So you're working with yourself. You're not putting yourself under pressure. Everything is about releasing any pain and allowing yourself to deeply relax. The whole practice is about relaxing the walls so energy is able to escape through them. And tension and pain and tightness are really the walls that hold everything in. A racing mind, strong emotions. So by doing this, we're really lowering the walls. And if nothing is holding in that energy, since it doesn't belong to our body and it was never intended to be trapped, it naturally wants to leave. It's like water at a dam. It doesn't belong there. Because if you open the sort of door to the dam, for lack of a better word, the water escapes. Because that valley was meant to be a stream. But we blocked up the water so it doesn't flow anymore. But if we lowered the walls, all that pent up tension and energy starts to move through.
So we go slowly and we learn to relax. So it goes through slowly and we learn on how to manage it, and we learn on what it's like without it. And then we learn to relax in deeper, deeper ways. And we come to understand deeper parts of ourselves, truer parts of ourselves, and come to an understanding of our reality, where we come from, where we might go, the purpose of our lives, deep healing of our body, our minds, our relationships, what we wish to do, not do. It very much empowers us. So let's breathe, release, let go, relax. Wherever there's any tension, we put our awareness in that place, and we just try to relax that place as best as we can. There's a slightly more advanced technique. Keep an open mind. Real, I did not make this up. It is thousands of years old. We envision, we inhale through our nose or our mouth. If this technique, as you relax, it's best to go through the nose. We can bring energy in through any part of our body, just like we can release it through any part of our body. It's not naturally released just by the nose or the mouth, the top of the head, the palms of our hands or feet. Any part of our body, energy comes in and goes out. That's just how it operates. Take my word for it. So if we envision, let's say, where do I have a pain now? Let's see here. So I have a pain in my right lower leg. I can envision, like we breathe in through our nose, I envision that I could breathe in through the lower leg bone, as if my nose was there. So as I breathe in through my nose, this takes practice. This is where we use visualization. Visualization is very powerful and very effective. As I breathe in, I feel the energy. Use your mind. With time, when I do this, I actually feel the energy come in. It takes a little time. At the beginning, you imagine it, and then it ends up happening. You envision you're breathing in energy from the outside into that part of the body. Like you're breathing in through the nose and you feel the freshness as you breathe in of the air against your nose, and you feel it move in and fill up your lungs. It's the same. So you feel the energy come in as you breathe in from that part of the body. And when you exhale through the nose, you imagine that the exhale is leaving, the air is leaving to that part of the body. So when I breathe in through the nose, I imagine my body is breathing in through that part of the body. So the awareness in the breathing in of oxygen is actually happening through my lower leg. Because where your awareness is, so is your mind and your thoughts and your energy in a very real way. You are breathing in energy from that part. You are, whether you're aware of it or not. When you exhale, you imagine that you're exhaling through that part. And that's literally moving the energy in and out through that part. And what it does is it moves it, and when it exhales, the energy leaving actually opens up that part and releases the blockages that are there. And you could literally feel pain leave with this practice. You could feel it relax with this practice. It's by putting your awareness in a certain part of your body and breathing in and out through that part creates a flow. And that flow allows the energy, the pain, the block, the tensity to leave through that place. It creates a circulation. It sort of unblocks a stream. This is a very, very, very old technique, thousands of years old. But it requires an open mind. It does really work. And it's working with the imagination and the mind. And it's real. It's learning to tap in and work with the energy and the currents of the energy of the body. It's a skill we've never been taught. It's an ability we haven't really tapped into until you are taught it and you learn it and you practice it. So we're going to practice together. You're going to breathe in and you're going to relax. With the out breath, just imagine all the energy, the density in your body to flow out. And it could flow upwards, outwards, sideways, down into the earth. You're just inviting it to go. Just, and if a particular part is painful or tight, injured, you just focus lightly on that part. You just breathe in through that place and you invite the pain, the density, the tightness to leave. You breathe in through that place and you exhale through that place. You're actually inhaling and exhaling through your nose. That doesn't stop. But you imagine that you're breathing in through that place. And that literally, by imagining that, you're actually bringing in body, the energy from that place in your body. And when you imagine it leaving, you're actually releasing energy from that place in your body. And that helps create the movement where any imbalanced is fixed. And also educating that part of the body to do that flow naturally without you having to do it consciously. Because our body is naturally radiating in and out all the time. Just not aware of it. Our body is very porous. The problem is we hold so much, we're not open or porous. P-O-R-O-U-S, I think that's it. Spelling was never my strong suit. I think it's P-O-R-O-U-S, or it's close enough, look it up. And it means things can flow through. There's no block. But allowing it to flow more. So we're too blocked. So we're inviting the in and the out, and the in and out. It's like a tide coming in and a tide going out. Energy in, energy out. Flows in, flows out. No more dams. No more blocks. It's just we're in the flow. So let's practice. Plenty of technique was said. So just explore on your own. Just remember, relax, let go. You breathe in, breathe out. You forget to breathe, remind yourself, exhale. So let's do this for 15, 20 minutes, shall we? Just relax. Any thoughts, exhale it out. If you have a thought, just let go of the thought. Let go. Let go. Relax. body meets the ground. Experience that. Just keep letting go. Any tension, any holding, and feel what you feel instead. Those who wish to continue, feel free to do so. For those who wish to turn around and go right into a deep nap, that could be very healing and restorative. Feel free to do so. And for those who wish to stop, just bring your awareness back to your body. Start moving your body slowly. Moving your hands slightly and rubbing them, just bringing, kind of reawakening your body slowly. Rubbing your face, nice and slow. And then don't get up slowly, just turn on your side and just slowly kind of lift yourself up back to a seated position. As you're
doing this practice, I lost the sound for a moment there. You could always extend your legs and release. I hope people were able to hear what I said before. In case people didn't, bring your awareness back to your body if you're done. And one moment, let me just play it back and see if that part went through. If not, I'll repeat it. One moment. Okay. Thankfully, it went through. And now that when we're seated, that's basically the practice. There are other techniques that go along with it, but it's a deep release and relax. And it's very restorative, very healing. And as always, I just want to ask if people need to check in with their doctors before doing this, if any psychiatric issues, just check in with techniques. For some people it's good, for others it might not be. If you're working issues of mania, or schizophrenia, or even maybe strong depression, you may want to just check in and saying, I'm doing this. Is it okay with me? Um, it's all up to us to know what we can or can't do and to check in just to make sure that it's something good for us. For some, might require, a checking in. But for most people, this is just simply a technique that allows us to ground and relax and to find a deep healing. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to being with you all soon. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a beautiful week. Bye-bye.